this is in a video response to my buddy Shane trying to do his reloads on his pistol. I'm also going to demonstrate with a few other things. My first critique with him doing his dry fire, not really necessarily dry fire, but out in his backyard, was that he didn't have his pistol up in his workspace. He actually had it down here and looking down. The problem with that is if you had to engage somebody and reload, of course you'll be doing undercover and trying to be moving around, but when you're doing that, you need to keep your heads up, your eyes open as you're doing it. Reloading should, after you're over time and doing it repetitiously, should be done to where you can almost, kind of see it. I mean, I can do it down here if I wanted to, I can do it back here, but we still need to see what we're trying to do, but also scan what's out in front of us for any other threats that are going on. So this is going to be done not only with my pistol, which I'm using right now as my HK USP 9mm. I've also got an M&P 45 I'll do, because the way that I reload with my HKs and the way I reload with the M&P 45, even got a SIG P07 I'll also use, is also different. His problem is that he's having magazines that he would hit them if they'll hang out. I'm also going to demonstrate on either how to rotate the pistol a certain way as you're hitting the magazine release button, that you'll actually let the inertia carry the empty magazine out of the pistol, but the other one is just sit there and just pull it out. So I'm going to go here, do it with this camera, my helmet camera, my cat camera, and show you not only with the pistols, how I do it with the revolver, how I also do it with the shotgun, along with an AR and an AK. So my hat cam is dead, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way and try to do this on the side. So, unloaded gun, unloaded magazines. I'm out. Click, no bang, see the slide, drop, and push forward. Same thing again. Click, no bang, look, gun empty. Out, squeeze. Stance a little bit better here. Last time on this. Up, in, load, in. Alright. Now let's try it again. Alright. So again, I'm using my index finger to release the magazine on the HK, which gives me a little bit more of a fling out loading it. But let's just say that I hit it and the magazine doesn't pop out. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to grab, yank, and release, slide. Guys like to sit there and try to do it as fast as they can, but they can get hung up, like I almost did, and they'll hit their hands in the wrong spot. Others will try, and it's still a method, of coming up, hitting, and releasing the slide. But I still, because of the long slide release on the HKs, especially on the USP, I still like to hit the slide release, because it's just right there and I can't miss it with my thumb. Alright, moving on to my M&P 45. As Shane also has done, he's put the Apex forward setting sear trigger, which I've got in mine, but I also have the match spring for the trigger release, which has got a very short reset and about a 3-pound pull to it. This is more of a competition spring on this pistol, which I'd actually suited this up for competition at one point. But it's only 10 rounds in a 45, or you can have the elongated 14 rounds, which also makes the pistol pretty heavy. But these days I've been running the USP 45 because I like the recoil with it better on the 45 than the most of the polymer striker fireds. So, but what I want to demonstrate with this is, because instead of having the powder release like that I hit with my index finger, this will use your middle finger, is with my hands, the way they are, sometimes I really can't hit that magazine button. especially on the 45, to release it. So I actually have to rotate my pistol or break my pistol grip out to actually pull it and actually get my thumb in. You can switch it over to the left, to your dominant side, and actually hit it with the push button. A lot of guys can do that. M&P actually, Smith & Wesson does do this with their pistols. I love it. But I just haven't gotten around to it, but I'm not using this platform anymore. So with this, with the slide back, same thing, release. But again, it's still up here in my workspace. I'm seeing what I am doing with this. So it's back, release, and aiming. I'm still able to actually get some momentum in to actually drop the magazine to actually make it come out. One more time, empty magazine on the M&P. So I can't hit it. And grab it, twist it out, up, release, and squeeze. Ooh, I like this trigger still. One last thing, what I'm doing with my magazines, when I'm pulling them out, I'm doing a 3-fingered system. I'm coming down, I'm pulling it out with this finger, my thumb, and I'm indexing with my index finger. Because with an index finger, wherever I point the pistol, where I point my fingers, where I'm generally naturally going to be aiming even without looking down the sights. So, using that idea, grabbing it here, and I'm actually inserting it, pulling it out of the way. When I do, my thumb is already right here, and then I just roll everything back in. All right, demonstrate this on my relatively subcompact CZ P07. Polymer just like the HK, double single action with the decocker, no safety on this one. So, and the very, very small slide, and I have to, use my itty tiny fingers to write this thing open. But again, then that's why I like using the slide release than doing it over and doing a power stroke to release it. But my thumb can actually hit here without having to break my grip on the pistol. So I can still use my inertia technique to get the magazine out. Oh, that's small. So, but again, it's all up here. I'm trying to work everything up here. I'm not trying to look down. Because I look down here working on my gun, somebody will be up there shooting at me, and I won't have the reaction time that I need to get out of the way. But again, though, you really shouldn't be moving, or you shouldn't be reloading static. You should be moving as you're reloading. So, but again, this is with more of a small subcompact where my thumb can actually reach it a little bit better. But it's still the same with most any other pistol. It's even done the same thing with a revolver. Come in, last round, click. That's if you're not counting your shots. Take it, swing, dump, and I am loading. Or if I'm doing a speed load, it's still relatively up in my workspace. Okay, doing this time with long arms, running a 12 gauge Benelli M2. I got my shotgun shell up in here. Come up, fire the last round. Still looking what I'm doing. Still having my weapon up in my workspace. So again, keeping it up here, doing everything up here like it should be. Last time with a 12 gauge. When I run load from the saddle. I'm up. Last round, look. Right, moving on to the rifle, unloaded with empty magazines. With the rifle, I'm generally going to have my setup the same way if I were just also carrying my pistol. Except for this, I'm running, of course, my chest rig, but if I were running my pouches on my belt, I would still have my rounds going towards me clockwise, because it's the same way that I index my magazines with my pistol, be the same way I also index my magazines with my rifle. There are two methods to do it with the rifle though. There's with the index finger pointed, or having reverse and doing a beer can, which is basically how you do it, holding a beer can, bringing it up and putting it in. Different strokes, different folks. So for me, I like to use it the same way I do with my pistols. Other times it does change. Probably with the AK, it will change. So I'm up, take it down, fire my last round, feel the bolt come back, or I don't feel anything, and I just see that I've got an empty chamber. So I'm out, I'm flipping, up, release, bolt, and I'm back in. Same thing. Up, pull the trigger, empty, release the magazine, up, release the bolt, and it's still up in my workspace. Everything that you do with your pistol should be done almost the same way with the rifle. It's just where it comes to the difference is the way of operating the system, because the magazine release being a push button instead of being pulled down. So again, I'm up, I'm in, release, I'm up, ready to go. And that's for the AR. Okay, with my AK-74, empty mags. With this, I'm actually going to have my magazines with the rounds pointed around me counterclockwise because of the beer can grip that I'll do when I do a speed reload on the AK. With the AK though, if you're doing magazine retentions, of course is to pull out your next one, rock, load, aim. But again, everything is still up here on my workspace. I am still watching everything that I'm doing. You can do it the way the Russians would do it. But the problem I don't like with that is that I'm still having my weapon down here. You can do it the American style. The Speedway is up and rolled, which is up here. But I still like to look around, see that I actually don't have anything chambered already, or that I've got any type of obstruction in. That's why I like to roll it to look, but I'm still having it up here as best I can into my workspace with an AK. Okay, so here we go with the AK. Up, click, look. And click, look. Over. Assist. And that's with the AK. So in review of everything that I've just done between reloading the pistol, shotgun, and rifles, even demonstrating with a little bit with the revolver, the key component of this is actually have your weapon system up in your workspace so you can see not only what you are doing but also scanning for other threats and other potential hazards. But going back to Shane's problem of having the magazine only partially come out after ejecting it, what you want to do is continue on with what you're doing and doing the reload, which is go ahead and you pull out your next magazine, strip your empty, load up your fresh magazine, and release the slide release. But again, you want to try to at least incorporate inertia into getting the magazine out by rotating and twisting the weapon into your workspace so you can see the magazine well, and then inserting the new one and releasing your slide. But again, not all techniques are going to be 100% perfect every time. So like I was explaining about having to strip a magazine out. Also, it's also because of dirt, sand, grit can get up in the magazine wells, even the rifles, that you're still going to have to possibly, it's not ejecting out, just go ahead and strip it. So from there, just keep practicing at what you're doing, but again, keep everything up here, your shotgun, your pistol, your AK, your AR-15, keep everything up, and then start incorporating as best you can, even basic movements, just doing one side step or two side steps. Trying to work on multitasking for your brain to actually move and actually reload at the same time. But again, work slowly, work slow to speed. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I haven't been shooting in like this in quite some time, and I know that some of my techniques are not polished or they're not where they had been, and it's because shooting is a very perishable skill. So, but I can do these techniques as I showed out here. Didn't have to shoot, didn't have to go blazing, and I actually spent like 1,000 rounds of ammo, which is money, to work on my technique. This is techniques, including dry firing, that I can use without having to spend money, but still keep my very fundamental skills sharp as as I can probably do it. So again, workspace. Watch what you're doing, even though I prefaced in the beginning of this video that I don't really have to see what I'm doing all the time. It should be second nature. But even doing things in second nature, even driving, you'll have slip-ups here and there. So it's still best to see and have things out to see what is going on. See that you actually got a real malfunction that you didn't see before because you're just moving so fast. So workspace, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Keep at it. At least you're doing something instead of standing on the armchair and typing away on the computer that, oh, this technique needs to be better. Get out, do it, prove it to yourself. Thank you.